Hello, I'm Ian Grant. I write the Clovenhoof books with Heidi Goody. Sadly, Heidi's not here today, but I'm here with my friend Spike, who's come to offer... What are you offering, Spike?
I'm just offering pearls of wisdom.
Pearls of wisdom from Spike, as I read to you a short story, Clovenhoof and the Spiders.
Sounds brilliant.
I know. Nerys came downstairs to find Clovenhoof breaking down a large cardboard box by the front door of the flats. I've always wondered what you're up to when I see you get parcels in the mail, she said. Hopefully it's just an inflatable woman, not something that will explode or set fire to the house. Actually, said Clovenhoof, standing up, I'm undertaking an entirely selfless exercise. This little project of mine is to help Ben. Furthermore, it was based on your idea. Well, how nice, said Nerys. What exactly are you doing? Clovenhoof beamed. Do you remember the other night when we were in the pub? We're in the pub every night. The night Ben hurt his elbow. Ben had been in genuine pain, gasping as he struggled to lift his pint of cider. What's wrong with you? Nerys had asked. Tennis elbow, he winced. I knew a man who had golf balls, said Clovenhoof, sipping his Lambrini. You don't play tennis, said Nerys. Some of those books in my shop are quite heavy, I'll have you know. Ben gave a sudden shriek, leapt up on his seat and pointed. What was that?
Oh!
Clovenhoof and Nerys swiveled their heads to peer at the corner of the pub. Clovenhoof walked over and picked up a spider, which raced across his hand. Kill it! Squealed Ben. Clovenhoof rolled his eyes and walked to the door where he shook it outside. You're not really that scared of such a small thing, are you? Nerys asked. Ben took a hearty swig of his drink and then whimpered at his tennis elbow. Oh. Always have been, he said. Too many legs. Way they move. Ugh. I was reading a magazine article about people who've been cured of their phobias, said Nerys.
Cured, you say?
Cured. They sent someone on a tarantula experience and he realised there was nothing to be scared of. Ben gave a withering look. That sounds like torture. It's quite clever, said Clovenhoof. I like it. He had long ago ceased to be amazed by the fact that any hellish torture his demons could devise had already been devised, tried and improved by human beings.
Too right.
Guantanamo Bay. I'm a celebrity. Weight Watchers. It's stupid, said Ben. I bet that was in America or Essex or somewhere. Luckily, nobody round here is going to try anything quite so ridiculous. At the flats, Nerys dropped her keys and her face drained of blood as she stared at the empty box in Clovenhoof's hands.
No way, no way.
You haven't, she whispered. Clovenhoof nodded with a wide grin. I have just set up the ultimate tarantula experience for Ben. Did you know that anyone can buy tarantulas? They're pretty cheap as well. I got 20.
20?
So, you... She stopped and put a hand to her head. So, you got 20 tarantulas? Yes, of course you did. What exactly did you do with the 20 tarantulas? I put them in Ben's flat. They're all over the place. By the time he spent an evening there, he'll be completely used to them. And you thought that would be a good idea? It's brilliant. It was your idea anyway. Jeremy, I think the thing they do is a little bit different. It's always got to be a choice for the person. They must choose to handle the tarantula. Nah, that'd take too long. My way is much quicker and more fun. You're such an idiot, yelled Nerys. It won't work at all. He'll see the first one and probably drop dead from the shock. We need to go and get them now.
Of course, it's good, isn't it?
It is. Clovenhoof met Nerys outside Ben's flat 30 minutes later. Interesting outfit, Clovenhoof remarked. Well, yes, I may not be as scared as Ben, but there's no way a tarantula will be running up my trouser leg. No, not with parcel tape wrapped around your ankles. Or going down my neck. No, I can see that. I'm curious, why have you got a veil? If I knew you were hoarding bridal wear, I'd have kept those little horseshoes when I did tap dancing lessons. It's not a real veil, said Nerys. It's for keeping flies off food. It will do for this, though. Weapons too, I see. Well, a dustbuster. Seems like the humane way to capture a tarantula if you don't want to touch it. And the lump hammer? Back up.
Oh, it's clever that, it's clever that.
They let themselves in using the emergency key. Where do we look? Whispered Neris. I looked this up, said Clovenhoof. They like to find somewhere warm and hidden. I'll check this box of dirty mags. You look in the airing cupboard. Neris made her way towards the bathroom, swiping the dustbuster protectively in front of her when she heard a key in the lock. Oh no, she breathed. Ben entered the flat and looked from Clovenhoof to Neris and back again. What on earth are you doing? He asked. It was an emergency, said Clovenhoof. Neris thought she heard a noise. Ben's eyes narrowed. So she dressed up like a zombie bride beekeeper and broke in to investigate.
Whoa.
Bees? Yes, said Neris. I thought I heard masonry bees. They can cause devastation if they get into your walls. Oh, right. Well, I've come home to have a lie down because I'm not feeling too well. You can do battle with the phantom bees if you want, but keep it down because I'm going to bed as soon as I've had something to eat. You're getting something from the fridge, said Clovenhoof. Yes, I've got a pork pie, said Ben. You're not having any. Neris gave an urgent questioning signal to Clovenhoof with her eyebrows. He responded with some less subtle signals, indicating that he'd put a tarantula inside the fridge.
No way.
Neris was tempted to air some old age signals to show exactly what she thought of this, but turned back to the immediate problem that Ben was pulling open the door of the fridge. No, she shouted. What? Feed a fever, starve a cold, she said. Everyone knows that. Looks like you've got a fever to me. What? I've got tennis elbow. I can eat what I like. You might have some bad pork pie. Imagine how much worse it would be to have tennis elbow with food poisoning. It's fresh. I bought it yesterday. I don't know why you think I'm such a slob that I can't keep a fridge of decent food. Look, it's all fine. Ben stood aside with a flourish to show her inside. Neris saw a spider the size of her hand rearing up from the butter dish, exposing its fangs. She leaped forward and slammed the door. Chicken soup is better, she said. Why don't I make you some while you take a nice bath? She ushered a confused Ben to the bathroom, giving Clovenhoof a sharp kick as she passed. I'll run the bath while Jeremy gets you a towel from the airing cupboard. Will you two go away if I have a bath and eat some soup? Said Ben. Yes, Neris said.
Oh, this is getting so good. It's getting pretty exciting.
Ben laid himself back in the bath and thought that this bizarre hijacking might work out all right. It was certainly relaxing to bathe his sore arm in warm water. He draped a flannel over his eyes and dazedly listened to the voices coming through the thin wall. I'm going to look it up on the internet, said Neris. You need patience, said Clovenhoof. Patience? We've only found one of them so far. Yes, put that one in the jar. There must be some other place we haven't thought of yet. Don't panic. As long as we find them before Ben, then it'll be fine. Ben grunted to himself. Why did they need to find masonry bees before he did? It's not like he had spiders on the walls.
Spiders?
He shuddered involuntarily, blindly reaching for the bath scrunchie with one hand, the fat bar of soap with the other, and started to lather up.
Is it porno?
Here's a discussion thread, Neris was saying. It seems as though we're not the first people to lose them in a house. We might be the first to mislay 20, though. Dark, humid places are his favourite, said Clovenhoof. Ah, here's someone say, try this. Try leaving a dish of water out. Sooner or later it will get thirsty and you can lure it out. Maybe they've gone off in search of drink already. Somewhere wet, dark and humid. There was a moment's silence, and then Ben and Clovenhoof cried out at once. There was a bang and crash as the bathroom door was forced in. Ben leapt to his feet, the flannel falling from his eyes as he covered his naked manly bits with the foaming scrunchie. What the buggering hell do you... He froze. For a mere fraction of a second, he wondered if he'd bought a new floral patterned shower curtain without realising. And then he saw those 18 shapes were not flowers, but hairy, long-leggedy
They're
things.
spiders, aren't they? They're spiders.
He took a deep breath, readying to scream, but then a little corner of his brain did a recount. 18 shapes. They had lost 20, they said. They'd put one in a jar. And there was his blue scrunchie hanging on the cold water tap,
No.
dry and untouched. Ben looked down at the soapy, hairy thing he had pressed against his groin. A soap bubble burst on one of its 8 eyes. The tarantula wriggled angrily. And then the screaming began in earnest.
Oh, that was so good. That was so good.
Did you like that?
Can I have another?